Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Welcome to this playlist, which is devoted to an analysis and a discussion of the Divine Mercy devotion. This is the 9th and final video in a series of numbered videos, and I suggest that you watch them in numerical order. They'll probably make a little more sense to you that way. In early installments of this playlist, we explained why at least some of Sister Faustina's spiritual visions could not have come from God. Also, we have discussed throughout this series of videos that St. John of the Cross warns us that spiritual visions are more likely to come from the devil than from God. And among the people who know her best, the nuns at the convent, there was certainly a suspicion that Sister Faustina's spiritual visions did not come from God. For quite a long time, I was regarded as one possessed by the evil spirit, and I was looked upon with pity, and the superior took certain precautionary actions in my respect. There are paragraphs in her diary where Sister Faustina herself was worried about this very same thing. On several occasions, I have run away from God because I did not want to be a victim of the evil spirit, since others have told me more than once that such is the case. And she had good reason to be concerned. We are warned in Scripture that Satan himself transforms himself into an angel of light. So, a fair question might be, what did Satan have to gain by introducing the Divine Mercy devotion? Faith is lost when a single article of Catholic doctrine is doubted. As we have already discussed, whole swaths of Catholic dogma must necessarily be doubted if one accepts the Divine Mercy devotion. It's an either-or proposition. We cited several examples of things Sister Faustina wrote in her diary that are incompatible with Catholicism. Another one that we didn't mention is that she wrote, "I learned that if a soul is with Jesus, he will not permit it to err." This sounds eerily similar to the Protestant belief of once saved, always saved, and to accept this, we would necessarily doubt an article of Catholic doctrine. The Council of Trent decreed, "If anyone says that a man once justified can sin no more, nor lose grace, let him be anathema." Sister Faustina wrote, "Say unceasingly the chaplet that I have taught you." As I said in an earlier video, there's nothing wrong with the chaplet itself. It's a good and proper prayer. However, its proponents encourage us to say it at the 3 o'clock hour. Now, wouldn't that be a great time to say the rosary? What is of even greater concern is that the chaplet is, in many cases, the lazy man's rosary. Since it's easier and faster to pray, many people are praying it instead of the rosary. And that's unfortunate because we need the rosary now more than ever. It seems likely that there are fewer rosaries being said now than at any time in the last 500 years. Pope Pius IX said, "Give me an army saying the rosary, and I will conquer the world." And unfortunately, we won't be conquering the world for God if we keep going in the direction we're going in. Sister Faustina wrote, "Only that soul who wants it will be damned, for God condemns no one." Would Satan have been intelligent enough to see the seeds of modernism that were sprouting up in the Church that would one day lead to the Second Vatican Council? The devil knows that the constitution of the earth and the atmosphere and the laws ruling the sun are disposed in such a manner and in such degree that when a certain moment has arrived, it will necessarily follow, according to the laws of nature laid down by these elements, that they will infect people with pestilence. In the same way, he may have knowledge of earthquakes, and seeing that the bowels of the earth are filling with air, he will say, "At such and such time there will be an earthquake." And likewise, supernatural events and happenings may be known in their causes in matters concerning divine providence, which deals most justly and surely as required by their good or evil causes as regards to the Son of Men. For one may know by natural means that such and such a person or such and such a city or some place is in such and such necessity or has reached such and such point that something will come to pass of a surety. The devil may have knowledge of this, not only naturally, but also by the experience which he has of seeing God do similar things, and he can foretell it and do so correctly. And the devil may know with regard to many other things, and in many other ways, and it's impossible to recount fully. No one can even begin to recount many of them, since they are most intricate and subtle. So, could the devil have predicted that the theology involved with the Divine Mercy devotion would have been used to prop up the unbiblical belief that there is a reasonable hope for all men to be saved? Could he have seen that eventually a man would ascend to the chair of Peter and make claims contrary to sacred scripture.
I figli del cielo e della resurrezione non sono pochi privilegiati, ma sono tutti gli uomini e tutte le donne, perché la salvezza portata da Gesù è per ognuno di noi.
For many are called, but few are chosen.
La lógica de la misericordia no entiende de premios o castigos, sino de acoger a todo el que necesita misericordia y perdón.
So, the Divine Mercy devotion and Pope Francis say that God punishes no one, but that's contrary to Scripture, which says, as Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities, in like manner, having given themselves to fornication and going after other flesh, were made an example, suffering the punishment of eternal fire. So Scripture tells us that hell is punishment. Every year, the Novus Ordo Church celebrates a feast day 1 week after Easter. Who is the author of that feast? Did the devil introduce his own feast day on the Catholic liturgical calendar? So let's review what we've discussed over the last 9 videos. The points upon which the Church always examines private revelations and upon which they are to be judged are the following. The private revelations must be in conformity with the doctrine of the Church. They must contain nothing contrary to sacred scriptures, or to the writing of the fathers of the Church, or to the Catholic faith and morals. The person or persons to whom the private revelations are made must be examined to make sure that they are free from nervous and mental disorders, that they are of sound judgment and humility and obedience, and that they are free from sins. And finally, the things that are revealed must lead to good effects. They must encourage peace of soul and practice of Christian virtues. Finally, I think that it's important for us not to blame Sister Faustina for the Divine Mercy devotion, and she only kept her diary at the instruction of Father Sapaco. It was Father Sapaco who was the father of this devotion. Sister Faustina was a victim of having received horrible spiritual direction, and she's a somewhat tragic figure. My only desire was that some priest would say this one word to me: be at peace, you are on the right road, or reject all this, for it does not come from God. But I could not find such a priest who was sufficiently sure of himself to give me a definite opinion in the name of the Lord. And so the uncertainty continued. Well, I hope you enjoyed this last installment. We'll be back again in about a week with a video on the Ascent of Mount Carmel playlist. But in the meantime, please check out my Facebook page, which is linked down below, and please pray for the church.
Mercy, mercy, babe. Ooh, Lord, have mercy on me. Well, if I done somebody wrong,